Many people believe discipline is something you either have or don't have. In reality, discipline often begins with the environment around you. One of the most valuable lessons inspired by Japanese minimalism is the idea that fewer distractions create fewer opportunities for procrastination. When your space is crowded with unnecessary items, your attention becomes crowded as well. A clear environment encourages a clear mind. Instead of constantly resisting distractions, you simply remove them before they become a problem. This approach makes self-discipline feel less like a battle and more like a natural habit. Japanese-inspired minimalist thinking emphasizes keeping only what serves a purpose. Every object in your workspace competes for your attention, even when you are not consciously aware of it. When your desk contains only the tools required for the task at hand, your brain can focus more effectively. This principle applies beyond physical objects. Notifications, unnecessary apps, and digital clutter create the same effect. By reducing visual and mental noise, you create an environment where concentration becomes easier and more sustainable. Discipline grows naturally when temptation is no longer constantly present. The most disciplined people are not always the strongest-willed people. Often, they are simply the best at designing environments that support their goals. Instead of relying on motivation every day, they create systems that make productive actions easier than unproductive ones. A clean room encourages order. An organized schedule encourages consistency. A distraction-free workspace encourages deep work. By simplifying your surroundings, you reduce the number of decisions you must make throughout the day. The result is greater focus, stronger habits, and a level of self-discipline that feels effortless rather than exhausting. One of the most powerful lessons from Japanese minimalism is the belief that small actions performed consistently create extraordinary results over time. Many people start new habits with excitement and intensity, only to abandon them when motivation fades. Self-discipline develops differently. It grows through repetition, not through dramatic effort. A person who exercises for 20 minutes every day will often achieve more than someone who trains intensely once a week. Progress becomes sustainable when actions are small enough to repeat consistently. The goal is not perfection, but persistence. This philosophy encourages focusing on what can be maintained rather than what can be achieved quickly. Large goals can feel overwhelming because they demand immediate transformation. Small daily actions, however, feel manageable and realistic. Reading 10 pages a day, organizing one area of your home, or dedicating 30 minutes to focused work may seem insignificant at first. Yet these actions accumulate over weeks, months, and years. The discipline comes from showing up repeatedly, regardless of mood, circumstances, or temporary setbacks. Consistency transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. The beauty of this approach is that it removes the pressure to be exceptional every day. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you learn to value steady progress. Some days your effort will be stronger, and some days it will be weaker. What matters most is maintaining the habit. Japanese-inspired minimalist thinking teaches that discipline is not measured by occasional bursts of motivation, but by your willingness to continue when motivation disappears. Small actions repeated consistently create trust in yourself. That trust becomes the foundation of lasting self-discipline. Discipline becomes easier when important decisions are made in advance. Japanese minimalism often emphasizes creating intentional routines that reduce unnecessary choices throughout the day. Every decision consumes mental energy. When you repeatedly decide when to work, exercise, study, or rest, you create opportunities for procrastination. A structured routine removes much of this uncertainty. Instead of negotiating with yourself every day, you simply follow a predetermined path. This consistency reduces mental fatigue and allows productive habits to become automatic. Purposeful routines provide stability even during stressful periods. When life becomes busy or unpredictable, routines act as an anchor that keeps you moving forward. A simple morning routine, an organized work schedule, or a regular evening reset can create a sense of control and order. These routines do not need to be complicated. In fact, minimalist thinking favors simplicity because simple systems are easier to maintain. The goal is not to fill every minute of the day, but to create a reliable framework that supports your priorities. Over time, routines reduce the amount of willpower required to take action. What once felt difficult begins to feel natural because repetition strengthens the behavior. You no longer waste energy deciding whether to complete a task. The task becomes part of your identity and daily rhythm. This is one of the most effective ways to develop self-discipline. Rather than forcing yourself to be productive through constant effort, you design routines that guide your behavior automatically. Discipline becomes less about struggle and more about consistency, structure, and intentional living. Modern life constantly encourages multitasking. People often believe they are being productive when they juggle multiple responsibilities at once. However, one of the most valuable lessons inspired by Japanese minimalism is the importance of directing full attention toward a single task. When your focus is divided, the quality of your work suffers and mental fatigue increases. Constantly switching between activities drains energy and reduces efficiency. Self-discipline grows when you learn to concentrate fully on the task in front of you instead of scattering your attention in multiple directions. A minimalist approach to productivity emphasizes doing fewer things, but doing them better. Rather than creating endless to-do lists, prioritize what truly matters and give it your complete attention. This method reduces stress because your mind is no longer trying to manage countless unfinished tasks simultaneously. Whether you're working on a project, learning a skill, or completing household responsibilities, deep focus produces better results than divided attention. The more often you practice sustained concentration, the stronger your ability to resist distractions becomes. Focus itself becomes a form of discipline. Over time, single tasking trains the mind to remain present and intentional. You begin to notice how much energy is wasted on interruptions, notifications, and unnecessary distractions. By protecting your attention, you also protect your progress. Discipline is not only about forcing yourself to work harder, it is about directing your energy wisely. When you focus on one thing at a time, you create higher quality results, greater satisfaction, and a stronger sense of control over your daily life. Simplicity and focus often leads to excellence in execution. One of the greatest obstacles to self-discipline is the desire for immediate rewards. People naturally prefer comfort today rather than benefits that may arrive months or years later. Japanese minimalist thinking encourages a different perspective. Instead of chasing instant satisfaction, it emphasizes making choices that support long-term well-being and lasting improvement. This mindset shifts attention away from temporary pleasure and toward meaningful progress. Discipline becomes easier when you consistently remember the future results of your current actions. Every disciplined decision involves a trade-off between what feels good now and what will benefit you later. Choosing to save money instead of spending impulsively, exercising instead of remaining inactive, or completing important work before seeking entertainment are all examples of delayed gratification. These choices may not provide immediate excitement, but they create stronger outcomes over time. The minimalist mindset encourages removing unnecessary impulses and distractions that tempt you away from your goals. By simplifying your priorities, you become more capable of making decisions that serve your future self. The people who achieve lasting success are rarely those who seek constant comfort. Instead, they learn to appreciate gradual improvement and steady growth. Self-discipline is built every time you choose long-term value over short-term pleasure. These decisions may seem small in the moment, but they compound over time and shape the direction of your life. Japanese-inspired minimalism teaches that true satisfaction often comes from progress, purpose, and consistency rather than instant rewards. When you learn to think beyond the present moment, discipline becomes a natural part of how you live and grow. Developing self-discipline does not require extreme routines, endless motivation, or constant self-control. The lessons inspired by Japanese minimalism show that discipline is often the result of simplicity rather than struggle. By reducing distractions, focusing on what truly matters, and creating environments that support productive behavior, you make it easier to stay consistent. Small improvements in your daily habits may seem insignificant at first, but over time they create powerful changes. Discipline becomes less about forcing yourself to act and more about designing a life that naturally supports your goals. The beauty of this approach is that anyone can apply it, regardless of age, background, or experience. You do not need to transform your entire life overnight. Instead, begin with one small change, simplify your surroundings, commit to a consistent routine, focus on one task at a time, and prioritize long-term progress over immediate gratification. These simple practices gradually strengthen your ability to stay committed even when motivation fades. Each disciplined action reinforces the next, creating a cycle of growth that becomes easier to maintain with time. Ultimately, self-discipline is not about becoming a different person. It is about becoming more intentional with the choices you already make every day. The minimalist lessons from Japan remind us that success is rarely built through dramatic moments. It is built through small decisions repeated consistently over long periods. When you learn to value simplicity, consistency, and purposeful action, discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts becoming a natural part of your lifestyle. And once that happens, lasting personal growth becomes not only possible but inevitable.